Hi guys. Welcome to next episode of Choose the Best. Today we will review best graphics cards in the market in 2020. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. You can write a comment for products and video. You can find the products by link in the description section. Enjoy the video. Number 5. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super. Packing near RTX 2080 performance and similar specs, NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 2070 Super rules for solid 4K play at 60Hz and high refresh gameplay at 1440p. With such a huge gulf in adoption rates, NVIDIA has been somewhat on the back foot this past year with RTX, trying its best to convince gamers that GeForce RTX is the way forward. The RTX 2070 Super reference boost clock is 1770 MHz, which is higher than even the overclocked 2070 Founders Edition boost clock of 1710 MHz. That combined with the additional 4 SMs means performance is theoretically up to 22% faster than the RTX 2070. But theory and real-world results don't always agree. Since the 2070 Super has the same memory bandwidth and configuration, in practice the performance improvement often ends up being closer to 10 to 15%. Number 4. AMD Radeon RX 5700. Gaming at 1440p is the strength of the Radeon RX 5700, a solid entry that, alongside its RX 5700 XT kin, makes AMD a real player in the field of mid-range video cards. The matte gunmetal shroud is accented by a red Radeon logo on the side of the card, while the face is emblazoned with the same lettering. A noticeable inclusion for those who have been a fan of AMD cards for the past few years is the blower fan, a distinctive cooling design that pulls air in from the case and shoots it out the back of the card to keep the inside of your case isolated from much of the expelled GPU heat. First, let's tackle anti-lag. This feature aims to reduce input-to-display response times through a series of creative solutions that, in essence, bridge the lag time discrepancy that can happen between the way a CPU processes lag time and how the GPU processes it. When these two are out of sync, it can lead to increased lag across both. But when you get closer to syncing up the techniques, it makes up the difference and leads to an overall smoother experience, with lower latency click-to-screen response times. The second is AMD's new Fidelity FX software, which comprises some open-source, developer-facing tools. They give game devs the ability to enhance subtle aspects of their game visuals without placing heavier loads on the engine through various post-processing effects. These computers then learn every area of the game and make intelligent decisions about where to round things off on a resource-by-resource basis, increasing frame rates by lessening the strain on the card's muscle. AMD's RES approach takes things the opposite direction, upscaling a 1440p image to look as though it's displaying in 4K through sharpening improvements alone. Number 3. ZOTAC GeForce GTX 1650 Super Twin Fan. The card that ZOTAC made is an adorable little guy that promises to pack a punch and be compatible, at least size-wise, with 99% of builds on the market. Coming in at a staggering 6.24 inches long and 4.54 inches wide, but still taking up the same height of a typical 2-slot card, the GTX 1650 Super Twin Fan is only slightly longer than the vanilla ZOTAC Gaming GeForce GTX 1650 OC, but offers much more in terms of specifications. Swinging around the card, we see there really isn't a whole lot going on as far as design goes. We have the 3 video output connections on the rear. IO2 fans adorn a plastic shroud that covers the all-aluminum fin heatsink that sits on the TU116 die. There is no backplate on this model. Power is handled by a 3+1 phase design that is not only capable of handling the GPU and memory at stock but can handle a decent overclock as well. Number 2. SAPPHIRE Pulse Radeon RX 5600 XT. The shroud wraps the heatsink effectively and has the usual pulse colors of black and red. The lack of glossy black accents in favor of matte black is very welcome. The red paints itself a nice accent to the branding of the line, and the embedded metal grid is a nice touch to dress it up. The backplate extends over the side of the card but has welcome cutouts for the BIOS switch as well as exhaust and PC power connector cutouts. As an added bonus of functionality to the aluminum backplate, SAPPHIRE have added thermal pads to help transfer additional heat from the VRM section of the back of the PCB to the backplate for extra cooling. The sides of the card expose the 5 heat pipes SAPPHIRE stuffed into the densely packed fin heatsink. Peeking under the heatsink, we can see that the VRAM and VRM heat dissipation plate is nicely adorned with fin stacks to help dissipate heat even better since it's independent of the GPU core heatsink. Sapphire also kept the switchable BIOS to allow for pulling back on the power and deliver a silent mode, which makes little sense when you look at the thermals and power of the default BIOS, as it already runs so cool and quiet. Might be worth additional testing. We see a return of Sapphire's removable fan design, making for easy cleaning of the heatsink or replacing a dead or dying fan. Number 1. MSI GeForce RTX 2080 Gaming X Trio. A massive air cooler and dual 8-pin power connectors make MSI's GeForce RTX 2080 Gaming X Trio one of the most robust RTX 2080 partner cards we've seen. The only challenge? Fitting it in your PC's case. Is one of 9 different RTX 2080 based graphics cards in MSI's lineup. This is the highest-end RTX 2080 of MSI's completely air-cooled designs. MSI offers other models with different air cooling designs, plus cards with liquid-only and hybrid liquid cooling. It's noteworthy that the RTX 2080 Gaming X Trio has 2 8-pin power connectors, as the standard RTX 2080 has one 8-pin and one 6-pin connector. MSI rates the RTX 2080 Gaming X Trio for an eyebrow-raising 260 watts, meaning it should have lots of room for overclocking. By comparison, the RTX 2080 Founders Edition carries a 225-watt rating, while the RTX 2080 reference card has a 215-watt rating. The side and the top of the card are their own lighting zones. You can choose colors, lighting patterns, brightness, and frequency in the MSI Mystic Light software. I'd be seriously tempted to mount this graphics card vertically in ASO-equipped chassis to show it off. You'll have a hard time seeing the top LEDs if this card is traditionally mounted.